with no direct reference or no direct knowledge of Peru, okay? In a general sense, I think that criminalization of crimes of honor or defamation, as practiced in many countries in Latin America, is just terribly wrong because of a number of things. First of all, the measures by which they are adjudicated are often simply unfair. Many times it's adjudicated by commissions appointed by politicians, and that's not right. Secondly, a lot of times it's if you take the situation in Ecuador, from my understanding, the first point is President Correa is a public official. He's a president, and in the United States we have two fundamental levels of defamation based on case law. And the one regarding public officials says that the standard for a court suit involving a claim of defamation by a public official is much higher. Why? Because it's a public official, and when you become a public official, you're subject to more criticism, and people have to be free to speak and criticize you. And the way it's taught to people like me when I was a beginning journalist is that if it's an ordinary citizen, and they have to prove that what you said was wrong, it was inaccurate, and you just did sloppy reporting, and that's all they have to prove. If it's a public official, they have to prove that that it was wrong, you knew it was wrong, and you printed it anyway. You know, what they call malice aforethought. And that is what is being called what many refer to as the Sullivan Rule, because the case in the United States that set that precedent was the New York Times versus Sullivan. And I know that many of the lawyers and press freedom advocates in Latin America want that to become the standard. And finally, I would say that in the United States, any crimes of defamation are not criminal. It's a civil suit. People don't go to jail for it. They can pay damages, but they don't go to jail for it. And I guess that's what here is called depenalización or something like that. Yeah, depenalización.
Penalize.
Yeah, to decriminalize. Yeah, and that's very different. You know, the big difference is that in the United States we have a different legal system, and we started out with the First Amendment to our Constitution, granting freedom of the press and freedom of expression. And here we are, that's why I said we're working to develop, maintain, and expand these freedoms. And so I think that's the difference. In short, I think that is wrong, and it should be done away with. And we work to do that. In fact, we've held several, what would I call them, several seminars and forums bringing together lawyers, Supreme Court presidents, press freedom advocates, and others to try to look at legal ways that we can stop this. And that is why I want us to put more of an emphasis on the Inter-American Court, because they can adjudicate these things in a fair way.